Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. 7 years after Man of Steel, Kevin Costner and Diane Lane played another couple in this gritty neo-Western drama. The Western genre is having a renaissance in the 2020s, partly due to Taylor Sheridan and John Linson's hit series Yellowstone, which has expanded into its own universe. Kevin Costner starred in the majority of the series as John Dutton, the tough-as-nails ultra-masculine patriarch protecting his family's ranch from land developers and other conflicts. But Yellowstone wasn't Costner's first rodeo in the Western or neo-Western genre, nor was it his last. Costner is tied to the Western genre through several films, multi-season series, and limited series. However, Costner has more than once dabbled in other genres as well. One of his most mainstream films in the past 15 years was Man of Steel, the first installment of the DC Extended Universe, where he played Jonathan Kent, Superman/Clark Kent's adoptive father. Starring beside him as Martha Kent was Diane Lane, an Academy Award-nominated actor known for her versatility. Man of Steel wasn't the only time Costner and Lane stole the screen together as an adored couple. The actors later starred in an underrated neo-Western film titled Let Him Go in 2020. Neo-Western films are defined by their contemporary settings that still use themes and tropes from the Old West. Let Him Go finds a good sweet spot between the outdated motifs of the Old West and the progressiveness of the modern day to tell a story that fits any time period. Taking place in the early 1960s in Montana and North Dakota, Let Him Go begins with a tragedy. James, the son of Costner and Lane's characters George and Margaret Blackledge, dies after falling off his horse and breaking his neck. Continue reading. Other than his parents, James is survived by his wife, Lorna, and their infant son, Jimmy. Conflict arises later when Lorna marries her new boyfriend, Donnie Wiboy, purely out of support for Jimmy. Although initially supportive of the marriage, Margaret discovers that Donnie is abusive to both Lorna and Jimmy and convinces George to rescue their grandson when the family turns up missing. After tracking down Lorna, they learn that both her and Jimmy have been staying with Donnie's family, an infamous family known for their violence in North Dakota. The legendary actor Robert Mitchum had a secret role in one of the best Western movies that was ever made, and it was completely perfect for him. Most of the film acts as a revenge saga that's reminiscent of old Western notions that draw on a character's struggle between choosing right from wrong. Both Margaret and George try to do right by their grandson, their only living blood relative and a reminder of their son left, but find themselves incompetent in their efforts. The film is also a nice twist on the us versus the law and civilization trope that is commonly found in older Westerns and even neo-Westerns like Yellowstone. Margaret and George, who is a retired sheriff, are considered civilized people in comparison to the Wiboys, who live off the grid and have a shoot first, think later mentality. But because the local police have connections to the Wiboys, Margaret and George are forced to rescue Jimmy on their own terms. The plot device that is probably most associated with the Western genre is the gunfight. Whether it's two men agreeing to a duel over a generations-old blood feud or a drunken bar brawl, guns are always firing in older and modern Western stories. The same can be said for Let Him Go, to a degree. The final act takes place in the Wiboys' house after George intrudes the home to rescue Lorna and Jimmy once and for all. But there's nothing clean about this fight. The fire George sets outside eventually finds its way to the house, engulfing it in flames. George proceeds to hold off the family member with a gun, but everyone's aim is slightly terrible, given everyone is riled up and tired. At one point, the matriarch Blanche accidentally shoots her own son dead. But the final fight wasn't even the scene that delivered the most thrilling moment of the movie. In an earlier scene, the Wiboys confront the Blackledges over their secret meetings with Lorna at her job. Blanche uses her twisted power to slap Donnie, presumably letting Lorna and George believe that he'll be punished for abusing his wife and stepson. Westerns have told varying stories over the decades to great effect, but one director delivered two epic entries almost 60 years ago. Blanche turns the table on the couple and instead orders Donnie to chop off George's fingers as a warning. Torture scenes aren't terribly common in Westerns, as most cowboys just get the job done. 7 years after portraying Superman's adoptive parents in Man of Steel*, Kevin Costner and Diane Lane reunited on screen in a very different kind of story, one that traded the superhero spectacle for a gritty, neo-Western drama. Their collaboration in Let Him Go 2020 brought them back together as a married couple, but this time, their love was steeped in tragedy, resilience, and the harsh realities of the American frontier. In Man of Steel*, 2013, Costner's Jonathan Kent was a beacon of cautious wisdom, guiding young Clark with a measured hand, while Lane's Martha Kent provided the warmth and emotional strength of a mother trying to raise a boy who was destined for greatness. Their portrayal of the Kents grounded the superhero epic with a humanity that resonated deeply with audiences. So when Let Him Go was announced, fans were eager to see them reunite in a more intimate, character-driven story. Let Him Go is a stark departure from the hopeful sci-fi of Man of Steel*. Based on Larry Watson's novel, the film is a haunting tale of loss, determination, and justice set in 1960s Montana and North Dakota. Costner and Lane play George and Margaret Blackledge, a retired sheriff and his fiercely devoted wife, who embark on a perilous journey to rescue their grandson from a dangerous family. Their chemistry, already established from their previous collaboration, lent a natural authenticity to their roles as a couple who had spent a lifetime together, bound by love and shared grief. The film opens with a sense of quiet domesticity. George and Margaret are living a peaceful existence on their Montana ranch with their son, James, his wife, Lorna, and their newborn grandson, Jimmy. However, their world is shattered when James dies in a tragic accident. In the wake of his death, Margaret watches helplessly as Lorna, now a widow, remarries a man named Donnie Wiboy, who soon whisks her and young Jimmy away to North Dakota, cutting off all contact. Margaret, driven by an unwavering sense of maternal protection, insists on finding them, and though George is reluctant at first, his devotion to his wife pulls him into the quest. The journey takes them deep into the cold, unforgiving landscapes of the Midwest, where they encounter the Wiboy family, a clan ruled by the tyrannical Blanche Wiboy, played with chilling intensity by Leslie Manville. Blanche is a domineering matriarch who controls her sons with an iron grip, and when Margaret and George demand to see their grandson, it becomes clear that the Wiboys will not relinquish him easily. What begins as a quiet plea for justice soon spirals into a battle of wills, where violence lurks beneath every word and glance. Costner's portrayal of George is understated yet powerful. As a retired lawman, he understands the dangers that lie ahead, but his love for Margaret compels him forward. His performance is a study in quiet strength, his eyes carrying the weight of years of loss and hardship, his movements deliberate and restrained. Diane Lane, meanwhile, delivers a riveting performance as Margaret, a woman whose gentleness is matched only by her unyielding determination. Her portrayal is layered with raw emotion, balancing vulnerability and tenacity in a way that makes her the heart of the film. The cinematography in Let Him Go is breathtaking, capturing the vast, desolate beauty of the American frontier. The film's aesthetic mirrors its emotional core, sparse yet deeply evocative. The tension builds steadily, with each interaction between the Blackledges and the Wiboys tightening the noose until the inevitable eruption of violence. When the film reaches its harrowing climax, it delivers a gut punch that lingers long after the credits roll. What makes Let Him Go so compelling is its meditation on love, loss, and the lengths to which people will go to protect their family. It's a film about generational trauma, about the scars that past violence leaves behind, and about the sacrifices people make for those they love. At its core, it is a story of a couple who refuse to let go, not just of their grandson, but of their principles, their dignity, and their hope. For fans of Man of Steel Let Him Go offers a fascinating parallel. In both films, Costner and Lane play parental figures who must navigate loss and uncertainty while trying to do what's best for their family. But while Jonathan and Martha Kent's story is one of raising a son destined to save the world, George and Margaret Blackledge's tale is about ordinary people fighting against extraordinary evil in a world that offers them no safety net.